Hello everybody, Travis here for Tpull's Corner, and I just started a battle. I'm on turn 3, and I think I'm just going to kill the Sprout just to get it out of the way. And we'll just swing on through and give them a second poison token. They keep playing life-giving lands, so I may get more poison tokens before I get other stuff on it. Let's see. Okay, so I'm heavy on battles because I've got 4 copies of Render Inert in the deck. So I'm calling it Inert Invasions. And let's just go ahead and put our first invasion on the floor. -13 might be a bit overkill. But I ran a playtest with 3 copies of Render Inert, and I had a match where none of them came up. So I had 3 or 4 battles over here in the opponent's range, in their side of the battlefield. Couldn't touch them, couldn't do a single thing. So I went ahead and burned a wild card. I don't usually do that, but ta-da! I wanted 4 copies, because the more I use this card, the better I like it. Just remove the counters, and voila! Free spells! And I still have enough to make them discard a card. That's nice. Okay, a Canker Bloom goes away. I think we hold on to the Skull Dweller for a minute. This can turn into a 3/3. And they can get a 1/1 out of it. But that uses everything they got. In the meantime, we can do this. 3 damage to any other target. We're now invading the Gropro. Do I want to go after this? No, I think we do 2 to the face and 2 to the battle, and we see what they think is the threat. They want to keep me from getting at the battle, even though they saw me use Render Inert. Interesting choices. Right, they still have all those cards. How can they have that many cards after everything that we've done to them? Okay, yeah, I think we kill it. Another poison counter. I'm not really counting on killing my opponents with poison. That was not part of the battle plan. I just wanted a 1/1 Death Toucher. But maybe we're gonna make them nervous. Sometimes I think of this as the hair, and these are the eyes right here. And these are little tears. They're crying because the poison's not gonna come out. That stuff doesn't scrub off. Myco Tyrant. That is to survive though, right? In the meantime, auto pay. I don't need to keep those treasures for anything. Discard 2 more cards. What did we lose? Willy and Blight Reaper Thalid. So we got a fungus tribal deck we've been going up against, basically. Yeah, here. Discard 1 more. And let me see what else we got coming up. Ooh, I do like that. Pass. don't have any creatures in my graveyard yet, right? Okay. Okay, they transformed. They got enough blockers. I have Atlatars. It reminds me of Alcatraz. I wonder if that was on purpose or not. Oh, they have a Death Toucher now. And they're willing to mill. Oh, shoot. Reflex. I didn't even look at their hand. They don't have anything. They lose 2 life. And they can block with that. And they can sacrifice something. Do I want to attack with it? What did it? It's saplings, right? They get +2 if they sacrifice a sapling. And they have enough open mana to do it. So no attacks this time. Let's go ahead and get rid of one of these and we'll scry. Don't need that, but Render Inert is exactly what the doctor ordered. What am I going to want? I could get another flyer. Or I could get a Prickle Fairy. Well, what are they doing? I don't even need to block that. I was going to have so much fun with it. I can still have fun, I guess. Let's do that. Yep, they don't hang around for it. Okay. So they were just getting in one final hit. They weren't going to hang on any longer. Okay, fine. Don't let me play with my toys. Alright, let me go in and show you the full army that I have assembled. Welcome to the new subscribers. If you haven't hit the subscription button yet, what are you waiting for? All it's going to do is show you when I put out a new post. YouTube won't hurt you, I promise. Not with Magic the Gathering, anyway. If you subscribe to other shady stuff, who knows? But so far, Magic's doing okay on YouTube. We're staying out of trouble. Okay, so for the new people, I don't usually burn a lot of wild cards. I had a ban for the first 2 years. I wouldn't burn any because I was showing what you could accumulate for your collection as a play for free account. But I still have a ton of wild cards. I'm willing to burn one when it gets me that 4th copy and I can finally just build a deck centered around a card I like. And I've been playing around with Render Inert the last month or so, and whenever I play black, I'm tending to include at least 1 copy. The ability to remove 5 counters, those are any counters you want, so it's good for removing Planeswalkers. But I do, once I'm willing to put a Render Inert in the deck, it does make me more wanting to look at the battles so that I always have choices. I have flexibility. What if my opponent's not running any Planeswalkers? What if there's no counters for them? I need to have some of my own counters, you know, I need something to do with it. So otherwise it's just spending 3 to draw a card. That's not efficient. So yeah, if I have a Render Inert, I'm probably going to want to include a battle in the deck construction, which isn't bad because there's usually, you know, any one of the invasions is pretty good. But let's break down what we have total. We have 60 cards, and I think I kept it 24 lands. 3.1 mana average, so we're doing pretty good. I didn't include a Celestus this time. I put 2 Realm Breakers in instead. I think that I'm falling in love with Realm Breaker as opposed to Celestus, just because if I happen to have a Praetor in the deck, that it might bring up some fun play later, possibly. 3 of the Bilious Skull Dwellers, Death Touch and Toxic. 4 of the Hopeless Nightmares from the new Eldraine expansion. Yeah, each opponent discards a card and loses 2 life, and you can sacrifice it and scry too. Very nice card, lots of value there. Black Sun's Twilight, 3 copies there. You can get rid of, just sort of do minus to your opponent's creatures. If X is 5 or more, you can return a creature card with mana value 5 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, although it is tapped. 1 Extract the Truth. Usually using this as a discard spell, but if they put out a pesky enchantment and this comes up at the right time, then you just make them sacrifice an enchantment. 1 Skullcap Snail. Target opponent exiles a card from their hand. 1 Ichor Shade. At the beginning of your end step, if an artifact or creature is put into a graveyard from the battlefield this turn, it gets a +1/+1 counter. Doesn't matter if it's your creature, artifact, or theirs. For the render inerts, this is kind of cool for it being a cantrip, right? You get to do something that Wizards said, hey, this isn't necessarily the biggest spell in the world. So let's make it a cantrip. You can do the one thing, and you can draw a card, because just doing the one thing is kind of boring. And so the ability to, probably they just added 1 mana to the cost. This would have been, Render Inert probably would have been a 2 mana spell, one in a black. And then, but they made it a cantrip, and just that 1 extra mana is pretty cheap for the ability to draw a card. So that's really worthwhile. I like this spell. Consuming Aetherborn, 2/2 lifelink, it comes in with backup, so if you put it on the Aetherborn, it becomes 3/3. And you can put it on any other creature you want, actually. So if there's someone already in there, like, you know, maybe there's a bunch of 1/1s or just another 1/1, and you want to make this a 2/2 and get through with another poison counter. 3 copies of Invasion of Eldraine. I did try this with 4, but it came up too much. I kind of decided to include the 4 Hopeless Nightmares with the 3 Invasion of Eldraines to have a little bit of a discard theme. And so there is, like, say, a third of the deck is kind of a discard component. And then if you do convert it to the Prickle Fairies, if they have 2 or fewer cards in hand, the fairies deal 2 damage to the opponent. For removal, we have 3 Deadly Derisions that also give us treasure tokens that I find handy. 1 Invasion of Innistrad. To flash it in, we can do that during the opponent's turn, can take out some of the biggest stuff. And because of the new synergies between some of the old big creatures and the new big creatures that get really big from the graveyard with Ixalan, 13/13 might not be big enough, but for most things it still is. Terror of Tawashi, 4/3 with Death Touch. When it attacks, if we have 4 mana, we can pay for it and return a target creature from our graveyard to the battlefield. That creature comes out of the graveyard and becomes a Phyrexian as well. 1 more removal, we have The End. It costs 2 less to cast if your life total is 5 or less, but you get to exile a target creature or planeswalker and search every zone that they have for cards of the same name and get rid of it. If they do have one of the cards in their hand, they get to draw a replacement card for it, which I don't like, but they do on most of those type of spells. Another Invasion of Algrotha. When it enters the battlefield, deals 3 damage to any other target, and you gain 3 life. Then you get Grandmother Ravi Sengir, if you remember the Sengir family. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, Grandma gets a counter. And you gain 1 life. Okay, the other thing that kind of ties in with our discard, Aklazats. Deepest Betrayal, a legendary bat, 4/4, the flying and lifelinks. Whenever it attacks, your opponent has to discard a card. If they don't have any cards to discard, you get to draw a card. And then if they do have a card and they discard it, and it happens to be a land card, you get a bat with flying, a 1/1. And when this bat dies, it turns into a land. And if our opponent has only 1 or less, 1 or 0 cards in their hand, we can pay 3 as a sorcery and transform the bat back and get the creature back. So that's one of a cycle. There's 1 in each of the colors for Ixalan. I only have 1 copy of that right now, but I think that works. You know, that's basically my 9th discard spell. I do have 1 Praetor in here, Shieldred. So if that comes up and we're lasting a long time and I've got plenty of lands and I've got a Realm Breaker out and Shieldred still hasn't popped up, I might go ahead and do the 10 and sacrifice it and bring the Praetor out. Here's another battle, Invasion of Ravnica. Exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls that isn't exactly 2 colors. If we transform this, we don't have a spell that's exactly 2 colors, so we don't really get to use the Guildpact Paragon's abilities. It just becomes a 5/5 creature. But the Invasion of Ravnica itself is so valuable that I don't care. Just getting a 5/5 later without extra stuff, just getting a 5/5 creature if we convert this, is enough gravy for me. And then Invasion of Fiora, destroy all legendary or non-legendary creatures, or if you want, you can destroy both and do a full board wipe, and converting that into Marchesa Resolute Monarch, legendary human noble, 3/6 with menace and death touch, and other ways to remove counters, by the way, through Marchesa, as well as render inert. So I've got a little theme going where you can remove counters from Invasion of Fiora and get a creature that continues to remove counters. So I don't know if that'll come up, but I'm not sure if that qualifies as irony or just, I don't know how much they designed this. I would kind of like to have, every now and then when an expansion comes out, I'd like to write down a list of a few questions and have a jam session with the designers and say, hey, I noticed that there's this relationship here. Is this an accident? Or, you know, when you were designing this particular card, did this other card already exist? How did these influence each other? I'm always kind of interested in the chicken and egg scenario when they come up with an expansion with an idea, whether they're working with the theme of a world or they're just working with a mechanic, and they start designing their cards. I find it really fascinating to see the creative process, how it snowballs and how one idea leads to the other. And that's part of the reason why I listen to the podcast that Mark Rosewater does, the head designer of Wizards of the Coast, is he'll get into some of those stories and talk about the origins of the way some of these cards are designed. Okay, this might not last long. We're going to red. The pickaxe is indestructible. Let me get a treasure token. And let's see, it costs 2 to equip. And do I have a way to kill that now? I do not. I can just go give them a poison counter, basically. We will indelibly mark them with our presence. They know what they're doing. They didn't give up. They didn't trade to a 1/1. Let's do another Necropolis. Let's run it on in. We take it. Okay. Hopefully they don't have a board wipe. If they... I want to try and see if we can make these last individually. Geologic Appraiser. Isn't this already banned in Pioneer or something? Okay, they use their treasures and a 3 damage abrade on a 1/1. That's kind of fine by me. Let's get rid of the Geologic Appraiser. Let's attack. They take it. Okay, here comes one more. Now I'm hoping they don't have land, because I've got Invasion of Eldraine. Darn it, I wanted to make them discard 2. Now they're probably going to cast a spell. This is kind of a cheap deck, right? Look at the 1 cost. And oh, there's the full 5 now. Ouch. That hurts. And the stuff that I have is exactly the wrong stuff right now. Alright, we'll go ahead and cast the Invasion of Eldraine. We'll get rid of the 1 spell they have. Okay. Now we have to block the War Scribe. I guess I could have run in one of them. They get 2 1/1s. That's not good. They can keep flying over my head if they want. That's an artifact, right? Okay. Okay, render inert it is. That is a good card to get. with 5 lands and 2 treasures, it's hard to believe that I'll be making good with the Hopeless Nightmares anymore. However, we finally start dealing damage to them. Just land. Good. Excellent. Oh, they're gonna bum rush me. Okay, you die. You die. I take 4 points. It's a land. Figures. Get rid of the flyer. You can gain life for that. That's all they can do. So we don't attack. They've already got 2 attackers. We do 2 more damage with the Prickle Fairy. We create yet another treasure. I want to keep my flyer that does damage, so we block with the Death Toucher. And now I can chump block one more time. They're holding on to a card with 6 energy. Why? Alright. I don't have anything better to do with these. Kind of late into the game, they were just holding on to a land. Here's another one. Have some fun with that. No attacks. 2 more damage. We got to trade off now if that's not removal. Another pickaxe. Not good. Because I have to block. That's a lot of treasure. Okay, a Render Inert would be kind of good right now, actually. Got 3 more. That is not what I wanted. I can't really afford to scry and draw. I haven't been getting enough land. Shoot. I can chump block. Maybe. For 1 more turn. Depending on what that card is. Never mind. We're done. They got me. They just got all that cheap stuff out up front. And I got my expensive discard stuff early before my cheap discard stuff. The order matters. Four copies of Render Inert. I only got 1 that match. 1 more would have been really good. Would have been really helpful. Oh, it is the month of December. I've got a pull up. I've been pointing this out the last 2 or 3 videos. It's for you to give me input for the new year if you want me to continue the way I've been with opening these videos with a battle first, or if you would like to prefer to see the deck tech first and then all the matches. And I think it's about 50-50 right now. So I don't know for the upcoming year if you're going to have a good kind of good chance to have an impact on the vote for next year's election, but for this month's poll, you can have a real big impact here because your 1 vote could actually change things and tip the balance one way or the other. So I'll keep it open till the end of the year. Do you have caves? They have life-gaining lands, but they didn't get a cave, which could have got them a lot more life. Looks like a big explorer-type deck. Let's go ahead and make them discard now. They spent a lot of time and effort to set up their little enchantment and their artifacts, so their background's already set up to really get fired up. And they still had one extra land in all of that too. Still basically setting up, eh? Craft with one or more. It doesn't say artifact or creature, so just permanents. In the meantime, I have the card I wanted. And they don't have any counters. Let the damage begin. They're not going to save any of their stuff, which I think is a mistake because I can do this. Look what I can do! Damn. In the meantime, I'm not holding on to my treasure. Let's go ahead and mill them. Auto pay, burn the treasure. We do get to choose a land, and it's a discovery land. That's nice, and we ditch their Trident and the Titania's Command. I'll take that. That's nice. Titania's Command alone can win a game if it's cast at the right point when the battlefield is kind of favoring them, or even neutral. Now, the one drawback with Terra Kawashi is that if they kill the Prickle Fairies, I can't bring them back without with Terra because they convert to the Battle Siege in the graveyard. Okay, what do we want to do here? I think we just bring this out. Bring that out, mill them some more. And what do we get rid of? Bushwhack and Archive Dragon? Okay, and I don't want to chump log them, right? I just want to hit them because I want to keep doing the 2 additional damage at the beginning of their upkeep with the fairies. And they're not holding anything in. They're playing their land every single second. So that means if the fairies stay around, that's going to be 2 more damage. So yet another land. A couple of counters. Okay, so they're willing to admit that they're just going to take the damage. I'm kind of surprised. 3 damage. Let's get rid of you. We'll play the land. Let's discover. Oh, no, wait. I don't have enough. Okay, so let's mill. I didn't have quite enough there. I need 1 more land, please. Thank you. Okay, and then we attack. And I'm going to ignore the battle because they're at 5 already. So we just see if they want to trade or not. They can block the fairies, so I can't swing in with the fairies this time. They're going to take the 4. They're going to take 2 more right now. I don't think that's enough. Are they going to try and swing in with the effigy again? They are. Here, let me draw a card then. Sweet. That's good. Let's see, that's an artifact, right? No blocks. No damage. What's this thing? This thing... Oh, that's just up the beanstalk. That's way too late. Here. 5, 6. Creature. Auto pay. Attack with the Death Toucher. They need something equivalent to a board wipe, and blue-green usually doesn't have that. Maybe if they'd had like a Terror, the Titan of Industry, be able to bring out 2 creatures at once, one with reach. But even with that, I could have just sat there and let the fairies hit them for 2 more points of damage for a couple of turns. So the discard part is working too. Works hand in hand with the render inert in the battles. Everything is meshing well. Let's do one more. What does everybody want for Christmas? Do you all ask for like people to buy you gift certificates for Arena? If you haven't, would you consider that a good gift? Or would you rather have the physical cards? Alright. Yeah. Let's go ahead and trot it out now. There's some people that will scoop as soon as you play a single discard, but I think that with this particular card being part of the environment, that people are more willing to understand that it's just going to be a permanent fact of life. I haven't seen anybody scoop since Eldring came out. Still more hand destruction. Get rid of what you got. Just a swamp. No biggie. And Skullcap Snail's already done their job, so if they could chump block the conscript, that would be just fine. Let's see what else they've got. They're down at 2 lands right now. They threw away a 3rd. They've got 2 more. Let's get rid of the arena. Arena is usually what kills me. They can bring down the Mycoid next turn though, so I do need another land. Thank you. Hoping that's what they do. It's something I'm prepared for. Now if they descend this turn, they get to create a black fungus. So I'm going to take that 2 points of damage. That's at the beginning of their end step. But here, nada. Testament Bearer. Okay. Let's see, they could bring that back. Nope, I'm taking 2 more points of damage. No blocks. Didn't get the land I wanted, so... The game didn't freeze. We're just waiting on our opponent. Do they have some 1-mana spell that can save it? Or do they want to sacrifice something? They want to sacrifice something. Okay. 1 goes into the hand, 2 into the graveyard. I didn't target what it was, though, so they were premature, because now I can get rid of the conscript, too. So we resolve all. We get to draw their 3 cards. Oh, no, wait, did I already target that one? I thought they... Okay, so they did it right. Okay, so then, let's go ahead and bring this out. Okay, they refill their hand, so that is a problem for me. What do we get rid of? A Murderer that they don't need against a 1/1 and a Ravenous Gigamole. So a little bit of milling in there, and a little bit of focusing on the graveyard. So milling them with Realmbreaker might not be the greatest thing. We'll find out. Just land. Having a second Realmbreaker hot on the heels of the first one is not the best thing for me. Okay, that I'm going to have to block with the snail. I do like Testament Bearer. I've made a deck with Testament Bearer in it before. It worked out pretty well. I don't see them that often. And land was not what I needed. I guess let's go ahead and sacrifice this first and see what we got. It's a flyer. No, not enough. Got rid of a no one left behind. That's good. But if they have a removal spell, I'm already dead. Ouch. This is gonna hurt. I need like a full-on board wipe now. Which actually, if they give me a land, I could draw a card instead of afford it. They don't want to run in with the Testament Bearer, so I don't have much of a choice. It's all or nothing for this draw. Didn't get a single invasion battle. And it's a tap land. Thanks a lot, Arena. Realmbreaker and lands. Extra Realmbreaker and lands. And lands. They might have another one of these Corrupted Conviction cards for all I know. Oh, did it not pay? Alright. That's all I can do. You really are at the mercy of the deal with this deck. Let's go and we'll take one more look at the end here. Basically just fan out the cards for you one more time. So there is an argument that you could take out the second Realmbreaker and put in a Celestis just because in my playtesting that happened a couple too many times for my comfort, where I already had a realm breaker, they never had a way to remove it, and I got a second one. So it's very strange to only have 2 copies of a card and to have it keep coming up as a redundancy all the time. Let's count up my removal spells real quick. It's a troublesome to try and count discard as a removal. So it's possible that I went too light, as I usually tend to do at the start of these type of things. So there's 3 with Deadly Derision. Invasion of Innistrad counts as removal. The End counts as removal for sure. This can kind of count for removal for small things, so I still count that if I can cast it. Although 5 mana to do 3 damage, discounting the 3 life gain is not the best thing in terms of pure removal, but and then the 2 Invasion of Ravagers. Yeah, I'm kind of light. I'm only at 9. Well, and I have 1 board wipe, so that puts me up to 10. That is still relatively low in the current environment, especially when they're putting out the really cheap type stuff, and I can't block it that well because, as we saw, let's go back in here again. I only have 9 creatures total, so in order to fit in all of the invasions and the 4 copies of Render Inert and the 2 Realm Breakers, you kind of run out of room for the creatures as well. Oh wait, I've got Black Sun's Twilight. So yeah, that puts me up to really 13. That should be enough. I mean, I know it's hard to gauge sometimes if the meta environment has changed too much, that everything's gotten faster and cheaper, and they're trying to kill you sooner than they were before. That seems to be the general trend. So I might have to revise my lowest number of interaction cards in a deck. But this is fun when you get the battles out and you're able to use the Render Inerts. This deck really kicks into high gear. That's really when you get the extra value out. So you just need them in that order. You need a battle, and then you need a Render Inert. And half the time, just getting that particular combo once or twice in the entire match is all you need to put you over the top with this. So I encourage you to trot this out for a try if you haven't been playing with the Render Inert cards at all. I have fun with them. I like them. I really like the design of the card. But as always, I want to know what your comments are. So like and subscribe, leave me a comment, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks, everybody. Remember to vote on the poll. Have a good one.